Is the DJI Osmo Action good enough or better than the GoPro Hero 7 when it comes to actually using it for action? Most of the videos I've seen have been promotional clips, so I wasn't sure if it's any good for actually using for things like mountain biking. So I strapped it onto my chesty and hit some of my local trails. The Rocksteady stabilization is excellent. It looks at least as good, maybe better than the Hero 7 stabilization. But I think the Hero 7 stabilization is good enough. I've never actually wanted it to be more stable, but I've got to give it to Rocksteady. It is brilliant. But what's more important to me is the actual image quality and the wide view. Is the Osmo Action wide enough for mountain bike footage? And what's the image quality like on the trails? Lighting conditions are quite harsh with the sunlight coming through the trees, and that always makes it difficult. And green trees, leaves, fast moving stuff, it's kind of like a nightmare for an action camera to have to deal with, really. Just a little trail. I want to test out I'm not so bothered about the smoothness of it like the Rocksteady, because I know that's quite good. My main concern is how wide is the angle on the lens. Is it wide enough? Because I really like having a wide angle, and the super view that the GoPro has is brilliant. I'm not sure this is going to be wide enough. I'm hoping to be pleasantly surprised when I watch it back. This is the GoPro Hero 7, and it is definitely much wider. Notice how much more is in the frame, my arms, the entire image is taller too. You can see much more of the trail. For me, the Hero 7 offers a really immersive view. Moving back to the Osmo Action, we're just much closer. You can see less of my arms and the whole image is more zoomed in. Audio is supposedly fairly good. I mean, the same as the GoPro. As you can imagine, it's got waterproof speaker on it, so or the whole unit's waterproof, so they have to seal it. So the audio is okay, it's perfectly usable for mountain bike stuff, but check out the wide view again. This is on the absolute widest setting. We're much closer to the bars. You can't see as much height in the frame, and stuff's moving by quite quick, but I think again you lose that immersion that Super View offers you on the Hero 7. So a couple of things I want to mention about the image quality. Now, it records at 100 megabits per second, which on paper is higher than the GoPro at, I think it's 74 megabits per second. So you would expect this to be better. However, this uses, and I'm going to get a bit geeky now, a different codec that's not quite as good. It's not as efficient. So this uses H.264 at 100 megabits per second, and the GoPro Hero 7 uses H.265, which is way more efficient. So although it records at a maximum bit rate of 74 megabits per second, you're effectively getting a much better file. And you may think, well, why do you need 100 megabits per second or 70 when you're just putting stuff on YouTube? Well, actually, when you are filming and you are on a mountain bike, specifically in forest with lots of stuff happening really quickly, and leaves, grass, all those different colors going by really quickly, that eats up the data rate like super quick. So if we were just doing this kind of stuff like vlogging, you don't necessarily need the benefit of a real high data rate. It's not really going to make any difference whatsoever to the image. But when you are on a bike, I've noticed that it maxes out that data rate because it's doing so much at once. There's light coming through the trees, there's stuff moving around, there's a lot of action happening. Then that is why you need one of those data rates that can really get as much into the sensor and onto the card as possible. So let's take a look at the image quality. I mean, it's okay. It's not great, it's just okay. This kind of shot is really difficult for an action camera because there's so much going on the screen. There's a lot of data that it has to capture, and they can really struggle with lots of colors, lots of fast moving stuff, lots of detail.
and that's where the bitrate can really make a difference. And the image is good, it is just not as good as the Hero 7. I can see some artifacts, a little bit of noise and a loss of detail on the faster stuff. So again, it's good, but it's not just quite as good as the Hero 7. There's quite a lot of sharpening that DJI add into the image. It's too sharp. There's quite a lot of blown out areas as well that it struggles with when you go into bright lights and sunlight. It's not great at dealing with that. So I think that can be fixed with a firmware update, but for now it's not quite good enough.
So, not quite a GoPro replacement at all for me. The image quality is just not as good as the Hero 7, especially when you're in real fast moving kind of forests and there's loads of stuff going on. It just can't keep up. The image is also not wide enough compared to the Hero 7, where you get super view, really wide, feels really immersive to watch. I love that view. I think GoPro have a patent on it, so they can't even try and put it into their cameras at all. The lens is just not quite wide enough for me, but what the camera excels at is this kind of stuff. This vlogging setup is brilliant because there's a little screen on the front and I can see exactly what's going on. I can make sure I'm in shot, and it's really handy. The audio's pretty good. Just for little kind of pieces of footage of my bike, and photography's pretty good from it as well. The image quality is good, so I am going to keep it, but I'm not going to use it for recording mountain bike footage. I'm going to use it for this kind of stuff, talking to camera. It's nice and small, nice and neat, good quality for this. So not a GoPro replacement at all, but a neat little camera for vlogging and just getting little clips when you're out and about. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for all the latest electric mountain bike content, and I will catch up with you all soon. Take care. Bye.